Hi friends, my name is Ichiguna and welcome to our project Death on a Paper, and welcome to another new YouTube video. So glad to be back here filming for you guys again. So last week I asked you in my post on my channel what kind of video you would like to see like this week, and you guys voted for the first sketchbook tour. So that's what we will be doing. So we will be going over a very old sketchbook. We'll be talking about the period of life that I was going through when I was working on this sketchbook. We will be talking about the individual illustrations that are present in the sketchbook, and what chapters, what collections they were meant for, what their themes are, what was the inspiration behind all of those illustrations that I made back then. And I'll just be exposing myself to you guys. I've always enjoyed watching other artists do sketchbook tours, but I've always felt kind of insecure and just lacking in self-confidence to be able to do that properly myself. So this is a first time that I'll be making one with actually the intention to like properly publish it for people to see. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I hope that you guys are as well. So without further ado, let's get into the sketchbook. Let's go over this thing together, shall we? All right. Okay, so as you can see, this sketchbook is really old. It's from spring of 2023, and it includes months of January and February. This is the second sketchbook of this entire project. I did start working on some of the beta designs in a sketchbook that is not really part of the project, like technically speaking. But this is the second sketchbook of Death on a Paper that I intended to only be used for this project. Now, I do want to say that it is very common for me to include sketches that don't really have anything to do with my work in my sketchbooks, because I am a professional illustrator, but I also have art as my hobby. So a lot of my sketchbooks have like things like fan art in them, like fan art of things that I like fan art of Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance or something like that. Some of the other sketches and illustrations that I have in my sketchbooks, like outside of Death on a Paper, are very personal, and are ones that I will skip in these future sketchbook tours that I'll be making. So I hope you're okay with that. But yeah, so and then also a lot of my sketchbooks also include just like notes, writing, because I've been using my sketchbooks as like a thing for me to just take notes on everything that I have going on inside my mind. So you will see a lot of that. So obviously there's going to be a bit of finish in there. So yeah, I hope that doesn't bother you. But yeah, so here we go. Now we can actually start doing this. I haven't done sketchbook tours in like forever, so this might be a bit awkward, but let's see. Yeah, so here's an illustration that I made very early on in the project. I have released it in some chapter. I don't remember what it was. Censor, I think. Yeah, so this is one that you guys have seen at some point. This is an abandoned sketch that I didn't finish, and this one was also included in some chapter. Jesus, like when you've been working on this kind of stuff like for as long as I have, I just sort of like forget where all of the illustrations that I've made have been released in. But yeah, this was a part of like an already finished chapter at some point. And this was also a part of this, I think. This was a part of Blade, yeah. So as you can see here, I've improved quite a lot when it comes to anatomy. It's kind of difficult to even watch some of these older illustrations because of how poor they are when it comes to anatomy. I've improved a lot. So, but it's great to see. It's great to see that I've been able to improve, even though I've been making art my whole life. There is never really a point in your artistic journey where you just stop being able to improve. So that's one of the things that like keeps you going, I would like to say. But yeah, this is definitely an older one. I can tell from the anatomy. So yeah, kind of shitty, but yeah. Anyways, here are some headshots that I made of all of the characters. These were supposed to be like cover images for my Instagram account. I think that's what they were for, but I didn't end up using them in that way. But yeah, okay. And here's an illustration that was meant for that I released in Blade, I think. Yeah, and it was about dissociation and how dissociation is connected to my habit of self-harming. Pretty triggering of an illustration, but that's what I was making at the time. So this entire sketchbook and all of these illustrations were made in a time when I had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder just a few months prior, and my life was in total shambles. Like, I was having very bad BPD episodes every single day. I was having non-epileptic functional seizures almost every single day as well. So a lot of this stuff is very dark and gloomy and very like filled to the brim with self-hatred and self-destructive habits, because that's what I was doing at the time. I still do that. I'm not in recovery when it comes to self-harm. I just want to say that. I want to put that out there. But yeah, this time in particular was very difficult for me. So you can definitely see that in the art that I was making at the time. Here's another one. This was also a part of the second chapter, which was called Blade, and about my self-harming habits. And this is supposed to illustrate like how self-harm is the type of thing that makes me feel somewhat of a connection to my inner child, as fucked up as that sounds. But if you have childhood trauma and if you've struggled with self-destructive habits, maybe you get what I mean. But that's what this is about. Okay, here are these are banners, or more like headers, or whatever you want to call them, that I made for the original blogger blog that I mentioned in the introduction video that I just made last week. I'll put it here in the card somewhere. But yeah, these were the first iterations of the banner that I made for the original blogger blog, which is called Trauma Doesn't Make You Stronger. That was the first sort of thing that I actually created for Death in a Paper, like officially. The blog is still called that, by the way. Like, the blog is still called Trauma Doesn't Make You Stronger. It's just like a subsection of Death in a Paper. But that's what these are for, like the banners for the original blogger blog. And these are just my my mental breakdown notes, as you can see. And here's the banner that I ended up using for the original blogger blog. I think I still have it up there, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's what that is for. And then also these are, again, they were supposed to be used for Instagram story highlight, like cover images or something, but I never did that. This is a sketch that I later on I ended up developing into something else. The illustration is present in this sketchbook. I made a redraw of this pretty recently. It was it was for the chapter 12, I think the number was, and it was called Self. It was about my identity and how my abusers, the abusive kids from my childhood, took my identity away from me because of all of the trauma that I faced. That's what this is about. But here, as you can see, the anatomy is sort of piss poor. But that's what happens when you make art every single day for several years. You end up really improving a lot when it comes to your skills. And this is the official introduction page for Ichigonia, my persona. Their pronouns used to be they, she, because those used to be my pronouns personally. But since I only use exclusively they, them pronouns, that's also what Ichigonia uses, the character. So this is the official introduction page for them. I made one of these for every single of the characters of Death on a Paper. So yeah, looking at this now later on sort of makes me regret how little I have done with, for example, the linked characters or the likes and dislikes of all of the characters that I've made for this project. So yeah, I feel like I should definitely do more with those parts of the character's lore. Yeah, I mean, like when I created the characters for Death in a Paper, I didn't really even think of them as characters. They were just sort of like these symbolic representations of abstract, or more or less abstract concepts. So yeah, that's why I didn't really do a lot. I haven't done a lot with them, in terms of a character lore or something. But I did come up with all of these introduction sort of things for all of them. So I might end up doing something more with that, hopefully in the near future. And all of the characters, they have this sort of introductory line, in their introduction pages. So for Ichigonia, I don't do much here, but I guess everything sort of always comes back to me, which was supposed to be a reference to them sort of representing me as a whole, both past and present me. Ichigonia is not necessarily all that active of an actor in the storyline of Death on a Paper. But everything sort of always comes back to them, because everything for what I create always comes back to me personally. Okay, this is a diptych, a two-part illustration that I made for a Finnish grocery store or department store franchise called Kesko, and they're one of their branches of the type of stores that they have. The local grocery stores are called K-Market. We have one of these very, very close by to us. If you're Finnish, you know them. If you're not, then I'm sorry. But yeah. This illustration pair was supposed to criticize Kesko's marketing strategy of taking advantage of bullying as a type of abuse, and sort of portraying themselves as allies of victims, because they were every single time you buy this very specific item from one of our stores, we donate 5 cents to the leading child protection charity in Finland. 5 cents. Yeah, great. Thanks for that. And this specific food item that they had chosen for this campaign was at the time, I think it was over 4 euros. So that's it's fucking nothing. 5 cents of that, okay, come on now. This has been an ongoing campaign that they've had for several years. It comes back again, and then it goes away, and then it comes back again. So that's what this illustration pair is criticizing them for, because I've always thought that these kinds of like activism like campaigns are very shallow and very just kind of pointless, because a lot of the times they just end up appropriating and just taking advantage of the thing that they're trying to be an advocate for, because capitalism is inherently like corruptive. It's inherently corrupt, and it doesn't really serve a greater purpose than to just portray the like the company or the franchise, the organization in a good light. It makes them look good. It gives them good PR, and that's about it. So that's what this is about. It has not been in a collection, in a chapter that I have actually finished yet. So there's also that. But yeah, maybe I will make a redraw of this when the chapter that I initially made this for comes about, because I mean, again, this is very old, and you can see that if I made this today it would be a bit better, but yeah, we'll see what I end up doing. Okay, this illustration was present in the second chapter that I completed, which was called Blade, once again, and this is about my self-harming habits as well. Here you can see again like a whole bunch of like notes that I took, partly for this illustration right here, this pair that we just went over, and then for other stuff. Yeah, this is still one of my favorites that I've ever made, even though again like the anatomy is not maybe the best, but I really like it. I like the splatters, and then just, you know, the composition of the piece. I think it's really well done. So yeah, it's one of my favorites. A lot of people have said that they really like it, but yeah. These were things that I made for like a financial emergency thing on Instagram back then, when I had my first Instagram account for the project. I've had 2 of them, and the first one basically got completely shadow banned because of art like this. And yeah, that's why now when I do post illustrations of the pain, that's the character's name, I either use her like alternative design that I created for Instagram specifically, or I just blur out her arms. But yeah, this kind of stuff didn't really go all that well for Instagram and their community guidelines. So yeah. But anyways, back to this. This wasn't a financial emergency sort of thing that I had to create back then, about my situation. And again, like I said, back then I had no treatment plan. I had no monies. I had no job, no income, and I wasn't qualified for Finnish Social Security funds. And I had debilitating BBC episodes every single day. And yeah, I was not having a good time. That time period, like the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, is one of the most difficult periods that I've ever had in my life. So yeah, that's what these are for. Yeah, and this illustration here is once again for the chapter of Blade, and about my self-harming habits, and how I just sort of how I didn't really care about it anymore. And even though a lot of things have changed, and a lot of things have changed for the better, I still do feel this way about it. But I don't like to talk about it all too much, because it's a very personal thing again, and a lot of the times people don't really understand what I'm saying when I do say this. So yeah, but this illustration depicts those feelings pretty well, even to this day. This was also, funnily enough, for Blade. I think that back then I didn't really even truly understand what I wanted the project to be about. I had the concepts, I had the characters, and I had the message that I wanted to convey. But then, like, the whole concept of the chapters, sort of like, it wasn't all that well thought out. So, the first two chapters that I made, which were Blame and Blade, they are sort of, how do I put this? They're sort of very loose in their like storytelling elements and like the thematics of them. Like, sure, there is the theme, which is like for the first chapter, Blame. There was the theme of being blamed for everything that has happened to me and for everything that I'm going through right now, like my illnesses and all of that kind of stuff. And then for Blade, obviously, it was about my self-harming habits and other self-destructive behavior. But a lot of the illustrations themselves that I created for these chapters were sort of like, does this really have anything to do with blame or self-harm? I don't know. Because like, I just didn't really know all that well that what I was even doing. I was just sort of fucking around and finding out. So that's how you get things like this. Like, I like this piece, but it doesn't really have anything to do with self-harm, other than the fact that like it's made me feel as if though my soul is missing, and that there's like this gnawing sense of emptiness, like both from, you know, like my the BPD emptiness. That's a very common symptom of borderline personality disorder, and then also the emptiness of feeling just sort of numb to everything that you're doing to yourself when you're that unwell, when you're that sick, as I was. It feels like nothing to you. So I guess that's what this is about. But yeah, it's very borderline, pun intended. This was an overlay illustration that I made for something. I don't know what this was for. I don't remember it anymore. Like, this was supposed to be an overlay thing for like a text. Like, there was supposed to be like a wall of text like behind the kid, like here on another piece of paper, and then I would edit them together, and then boom, it would be like a mixed media sort of thing, both traditional and digital. But I have no idea what this was for anymore. Yeah, so it's just sort of there. Okay, moving on. And here, this was for the chapter called SOS, which was about suicide and suicidal ideation and tendencies. It was number 3, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was. So that's what this is about. Yeah, it's just about the sort of hopelessness that you feel when you're truly in the trenches when it comes to like actually wanting to be here. So yeah, this was one of those illustrations. As you can probably notice, the majority of the illustrations in this sketchbook are for the chapters Blade and SOS and some other stuff that I made specifically for Instagram and whatnot. This was also supposed to be for SOS, but I was not happy with the way that it turned out in the slightest, so I ended up scratching it. So again, you can clearly tell that my anatomy has really improved a lot from these years. But yeah, that's what this was. This was for, obviously, trying to portray the feeling of being told to kill yourself by your abusers. Here, this is the proper version of that sketch that we saw previously with the backpack. Here are some of the items that I wanted to include in that backpack. This backpack is actually based on my very first Ita bag that I have. It's very similar to this. And here are some other like items that I wanted to include in there. There's future in the form of a pencil case, identity, in the form of a notebook, another notebook saying dignity, and then a manga paperback saying joy, health, with the these line art pens that I have, the Sakura Micron fine liners, and then I finish in literature textbook titled Sanity. A lot of these I did end up including here, as you can see here. These are made on on a separate piece of paper that I then just cut out and glued on. So like a collage type of thing. I made a redraw of this illustration not that long ago, like I said. Yeah, here you can definitely see that just like the hand is just atrocious, and I didn't really know how to draw like profiles all that well. Now I love drawing profiles. It's one of my favorite like angle to draw human faces from, even my own characters. So you can see that I struggled quite a lot with that, and then just like the arms and the hand. So yeah. So this was for self, like I said previously, but yeah, so because this was at the very beginning stages of Death on a Paper, like early on spring 2023, I had only been working on the project for just a couple of months. Some of these illustrations were just like things that came to me, and I needed to get them on the paper. This was one of them, and then I ended up having to redraw this like several years later because of how much I've improved. But yeah, anyways, this was a time in the fuck. I just realized that I forgot to turn the fan off. Great. I hope you can still hear me. Well, that's embarrassing. Anyways, moving on. Fucking hell. Clearly, I'm in the very early stages of like making YouTube videos because I forget these kinds of things. But yeah, anyways, so at this point in time when I was working on these illustrations, I didn't have that strong of a vision yet as to what I wanted the project to be about. It might come to you as a surprise, but at this state in my artistic journey with Death on a Paper, the most important thing for me back then was actually the blog. It wasn't the illustrations, which is very weird considering the fact that I started with, like creating the characters and whatever. But my initial goal was to really make the blog to be like the center of the project. But now it is still very important, yes, don't get me wrong, but I ended up choosing the name of Death on a Paper instead of Trauma Doesn't Make You Stronger, because Death on a Paper was that very sort of unique idea that I came up with when I was still at the psych ward in 2022. So yeah, looking at these illustrations right now is just it gives me a personal like insight to my creative process even back then. So that's very, very interesting to see. Here's a Hello Kitty cosplay design that I created. Oh my god. Like I said, these sketchbooks include like things that are more in tune with my personal interests. There's like things like this here that have nothing to do with Death on a Paper. I actually ended up making this cosplay. I have a cosplay Instagram account that I'm not all that active on at the moment because I have no money to make new cosplays and to go to conventions because of everything that's been going on with me and my fiance. But yeah, I designed this Hello Kitty cosplay and I ended up making it. I make my own cosplays from scratch, typically. I sew the majority of them myself. So yeah, that's what this is about. Okay, this illustration you've seen a bunch of times. It's one of the earlier ones that I made. What was this for? What fucking chapter was this for? Yeah, I can't remember. I'll put the name of the chapter here when I edit the footage. but yeah, I can't remember it right now. But yeah, this is one that I'm particularly fond of. I think it's pretty well made, even considering the fact that it's old and everything, but I still like it. I still like this a lot. And also, just as a sort of side note, you can probably tell that the kids' hoodie design has changed quite a bit over the years. I used to include like the white stripes were a lot skinnier, because this is actually like the literal replica of the hoodie that I used to wear when I was 10 to 11 years old. So that's why I wanted the stripes to be like skinnier. But over the years, it got pretty frustrating to draw the hoodie with stripes this skinny. So I ended up making them a bit wider. This sticker right here is a pretty good representation of what the kid looks like right now. And also this character charm that I made last year. Here you can see her probably. So the hoodie color has changed somewhat, and then also the stripes are just a lot wider now. But yeah, this is what she originally looked like. Okay, and here's the introduction page for the pain that I made back then. Yeah, this is her original design, and yeah, here you can see that she's sort of floating, like I said in the introduction video that I made last week, that her character was always supposed to be more like the spiritual being, and that's why she's just sort of floating around. Like she doesn't really walk all that much, because that's the way that I intended her to be. But yeah, this is an illustration that I included in the chapter SOS. So for suicide and suicidal ideation, it's supposed to illustrate the sort of almost comfort that I feel at the thought of being and taken away by all of the hurt that I've gone through in my life. When you've struggled as much as I have in your life, you get it. But I hope that none of you know what this is about, because it's a very hopeless feeling, and to find some type of comfort or solace in the thought of ending your own life is not a good place to be in. Also, here you can see that that spine of this sketchbook has completely broken, because just I used to be really rough with my sketchbooks, and this time I used them to sort of direct my anger towards something. So some of the sketchbooks that I had from this time period are just like the spine is completely broken here. I don't do that all that much anymore, but yeah. Also, the sketchbook that I'm using, if any one of you is curious, is the A5 portrait one. Sketching journal by Montmartre. I've been using Montmartre sketchbooks for I want to say around 9 to 8 years. This sketching journal signature sketchbook was one that I worked with for a very, very long time. Now I use the one with the spiral spine instead, so that it's not like a bound like this. But yeah, I love the sketchbook. I think it's really good. But the paper is sort of very it's very porous. So when you use markers on this kind of sketchbook, is that there's the issue that the ink bleeds a lot, and yeah, it just sort of smudges very easily. That's why I decided to stop using this sketchbook in particular, because the one that I use now doesn't bleed nearly as much. Though I do want to say that there's one feature of that paper in the sketchbook that I use now that I really dislike, and it's the paper is a bit too translucent. it's just a bit too thin. Like whereas this paper is very sturdy. It doesn't really, it's not that translucent. You can't really see anything. Like when it's just laid out like this, like right here, you can't really see what's like behind the page that you're on. That's something that I really liked about this sketchbook. But yeah, it's just a matter of trying to find a sketchbook that really fits your personal needs as an artist. That's why I personally don't really feel comfortable telling people what kind of materials they should be using when it comes to traditional art. It's really just a matter of like what works for you personally. And this one worked for me very, very well. So I do recommend it if your art is somewhat similar to mine as to like what kind of materials you use. Like I have the Sakura Micron. Sorry about that, I hit the mic. The Sakura Micron fine liners, and then the Ecoline brush pen watercolor markers. These I use a lot in various different shades. So yeah, it does work really well. But then, like I said, it's just that the ink sort of bleeds quite a lot. So just for the sake of reference, here is a sketchbook. Fuck. Did you really have to do that? Anyways. Just for the sake of reference, here's a sketchbook that's relatively new for me. I still have like unfinished things here, but this is from this year's spring. This is the one that I use right now. So as you can see, the paper is a lot wider here as to when it comparing to this one. This is more of an off-white color. Like a more natural sort of white tone, and then this is more bleached. I personally prefer the bleached one because it just the colors pop out more. And then, well, here for example, there's this piece that is relatively new. Here you can see that it's very translucent. Like you can see the text almost entirely through the page, which is not something that I'm a huge fan of. But but yeah, all in all, I like Montmartre. Okay, I like Montmartre sketchbooks a lot. They are ones that I've been using for a very, very long time. So yeah, I personally do prefer like the white here compared to this, and the ink doesn't bleed nearly as much because this paper is not as porous, like I said. But yeah, that's just to sort of compare the two if you're interested in any of that. Moving on. Yeah, this headshot, I think I was supposed to use it for something like a sticker design or something. I don't really know. And then there's post-it notes from phone numbers and whatever from my like the resources that I was using back then. You're not really supposed to see that, but anyways, this illustration here, this is based on an article that I read on the Finnish Public Broadcasting Radio's website. It's called Yleisradio. Yleisradio released an article at the beginning of the year of 2023, where they had interviewed a middle-aged man who appeared as anonymous and who shared his story of being a bully at school and what it had done to him and how he had coped with that. I made this illustration as a commentary of that article. I found it sort of dishonest or disingenuous and just sort of attention seeking back then, like to sort of air out your grievances as a former abuser and how difficult that has been for you when you made the conscious decision to do that back then. So that's what this is about. There's also a second part of it, which is here. The kid is reading that article while like her mouth is like tied shut, because that's how it feels. and here's a text that I wrote for it. This artwork is based on an article published on Finnish Public Broadcasting Radio's website on January 26th of 2023. The person interviewed for the article approached me personally and told me about their story. This artwork is not criticizing the person interviewed. It aims to question the way Yle chose to portray them. And Yle chose to portray this man in a way that was very, very disingenuous. I have spoken to this person multiple times in the past, and he has been one of my biggest personal supporters when it comes to my art. And we've talked a lot, and he's a really good guy. And he personally told me that he never wanted to be anonymous in that article. He wanted to tell his story with his own full name, but Yle chose not to do that, and Yle chose to portray this person in a way that came across as incredibly sort of a self-victimizing, when that was not what he wanted himself. And that's sort of the commentary that I have on this whole article. But yeah, you who this is about, if you are still watching my videos, if you're watching this video, and if you see me commenting on this article, on this artwork, sorry, that I made based on the article that you were a part of, I want to say thank you for your continuous support. Thank you for being a good person, and you're a very, very solid dude, and I hope that we get to meet each other one day. That would be great. Now, here's an illustration that I redrew a while ago. I actually just showed it to you here on the sketchbook that I just showed to you a couple of minutes ago. So this was for the chapter online that I am working on currently. Even still, yes, it's been like fucking 5 months, but I've been slow. So yeah, so this is the original version of that illustration here on this in the sketchbook. This is the current version, the improved version. So yeah, I wanted to redraw this because of anatomical reasons once again, and because the perspective with the feet was off, and the legs too. So yeah, but that's what this is about. The phone here again reads like it does here in the newer version. I don't feel any emotions about it, in reference to feeling completely indifferent when it comes to the online abuse that you have put other people through for the sake of your own fucked up pleasure. So yeah, this is the original one. It's very old, and I'm not happy with it. Notes for an illustration. Post-it note here on top of this for whatever reason. I don't remember what this is for. It's been so many years. I have no idea what this was for. Bruh. And these notes here are for this illustration. Yeah, so this is a piece that I worked for a very, very long time, and people really liked it. My fucking Red Bull is in the way. Jesus. I personally still think that it's okay. It's just that the anatomy here with the friend in particular is very off. But yeah, I made a redraw of this pretty recently. I wanted to make the redraw on a bigger piece of paper instead of using like a spread of a sketchbook like this. Though I do think that it's pretty cool that it like sort of opens up like here when you open the book up, and then there's like this bigger piece. But yeah, this is here's the finished texts that are plastered onto the teachers' faces. Like this one here says "Ei kiusaamiselle," which means no to bullying. Meidän koulussa ei kiusata, which means there's no bullying in our school. And then here it says kiusaaminen ei ole ok, which means bullying is not okay. So yeah, it's like a commentary on just how little teachers and other school personnel pay attention to this shit, even though it's something that they really want to like toot their own horn about. They're like, we don't have any sort of bullying in our school. Everyone's a friend here. We all treat each other equally, and we all spread kindness in every single day that we spend here at this lovely school. And then like when that shit actually happens, then they choose to just completely like just shut their eyes and close their eyes and don't even want to address it. So yeah, that's what this illustration is about. This is the redraw of this illustration. Here it's bigger, and the anatomy is better, and I used the Ohuhu Nahuku acrylic markers here for the background. I thought that it worked pretty well. So yeah, it's basically the same thing, but oh yeah, and instead of the friend like grasping the kid's hair, they're grasping her neck, choking her instead. So those are the differences. That I made this a couple of months ago, I would like to say. This is the original art shop logo that I made for the blogger blog. So yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but this is the first iteration of that. I'll put the current one here on the screen that I have on my website right now, so that you can compare the two. But that's what it looked like back then. Now these illustrations are the original headshot stickers that I made of the characters. If you've been here long enough, you can probably even recognize these. I know that some of you still have these, which is pretty cool, that you have these old stickers that I made for my coffee shop back then. But these are the original headshot and character sticker designs that I made. Yeah, a lot has changed since then. Okay, this illustration I made this for Go Supermodel. Does anyone remember Go Supermodel? Did you know that it came back? That the site relaunched in 2022? Yeah, I used to play GSM a lot, on the Finnish server, on the original Finnish server back then, in the 2010s. And a couple of years ago, they relaunched the site, and I made this illustration for an art competition on GSM. That's why I haven't published it anywhere else. It was just for Go Supermodel. I'm not active on GSM anymore. Don't bother looking me up over there. I'm not active there anymore. And this illustration here, this is for Censor. And I've also made a redraw of this because once again, like the profile anatomy is just like all over the place. I really didn't know what I was doing with profiles back then. I've improved a lot when it comes to drawing profiles, but yeah, this is for Censor. If you've seen the chapter, then you know. Then you've seen the redraw of this. I don't remember in what sketchbook the redraw is, and I am not going to go and try to look it up. I'm so sorry. A tattoo design for my favorite My Chemical Romance song, The Sharpest Lives. I still intend to get this tattoo at some point. So it's just a knife, and then it reads the lyrics, The Sharpest Lives are the deadliest to lead. It's my all-time favorite My Chem song. And I designed this for a tattoo. I'll get it at some point when I have monies, but we do not have monies, so yeah, please buy my shit. Okay, another sketch of an art shop logo sort of thing, and then this about the artist thing. This banner was for the original blogger blog, and for the Meet the Artist thing. I have made a redraw of this as well. It's now up on my website. I can put it up here for like a reference, so that you can compare the two. But yeah, this is the original about the artist thing. So yeah, Here you can see that I started using they them pronouns exclusively. It's been over 3 years. And this is another art shop logo for the sketch you can see here. I used this for Instagram for a very short period of time, so yeah, it's pretty shit. But anyways, and this again, this was, I think this was for SOS too. Yeah, it has to be, because it's about like suicidal ideation and just like wanting to give up on everything. I like this one. I still do. I like the line art. I need to make more just like line art stuff, because I love working with line art. It's my favorite part of creating art, believe it or not, but it is. This this illustration is for a chapter that I have yet to even start properly working on. You can catch the reference if you know it, but I'm sure that a lot of you will. Yeah, I still like it. I might end up redrawing it. I don't know, but it's going to be for a chapter that I haven't really even started working on properly. So yeah, I still like it. It's pretty neat. More cosplay related stuff for the Hello Kitty cosplay. Yeah, like my measurements and stuff. Oh yeah, here's some pretty messed up stuff. I don't really even know what to say about this, other than I was not having a good time, and then I made these cloud sort of things. Yeah, these are the first drawings of the full body character sticker designs. Here's the kid. Yeah, ta-da! So the stickers are more saturated in color, and they've been like digitally like edited. But yeah, these are the original designs for these stickers. Yay! I think they're pretty cute. Please buy them. I need money. And then I was moving into my new apartment, the apartment that me and my fiance now live in, and these were things that I wanted to get for the new home. A lot of Sanrio stuff, a lot of kawaii stuff, because I'm a huge fan of the kawaii aesthetics and Sanrio and all things Japanese popular culture. So, yay. Okay. Yeah, here's an illustration of a phone Instagram comment section. These are the profile pictures that I made that I was going to like attach onto the illustration like digitally. This is what I do very often, because it's very, very difficult to draw these kinds of like intricate designs onto a space this fucking tiny. So this is what I end up doing a lot of the times. So a lot of my art is somehow like digitally altered, like edited. A lot of it's for like collage purposes, and then for saturation and lighting and shadows and whatnot. But yeah, anyways, this was meant to be for online. I still might make this a more like an actual thing. I totally forgot that this was a thing because this sketchbook is so old. It's well over 3 years old, so I completely forgot about it. But yeah, it's a comment section where like Ichigania comments, the physical abuse in PE was just the worst, receiving 12 likes, and then a user by the username being there _ says, yeah, same lol, those were the times XD, and they received 100 likes. This is supposed to be in commentary of just like how unserious people are about bullying being a very real form of abuse. It's literally, to a lot of people online, it's literally nothing else but just it's a punchline, it's a joke. even to people who have been abused. And I know that it's for some people it may be like a coping mechanism, but I feel like for it to be just about that, for it to just be about coping and nothing else, I feel like this is way too common for that to be the case. I feel like it has to be, at least to some extent, people who find it funny when kids abuse each other and who refuse to take it as a very serious form of abuse. So that's what this is in commentary of. This illustration is also sort of part of that. The anatomy is absolutely piss poor, and it's just a friend's phone reads, "It's the internet, what do you expect?" Because that's what people always say. Okay, and here we are on the last fucking spread of this sketchbook tour. These are the character symbol designs. Yeah, as you can see here, for Ichigonya, I originally intended it to be a baby, a kitty, but I ended up scratching that for one reason or another. And then I also sort of thought about making the razor blade the pain's symbol. So yeah, here's another sketch of that being like a present. So yeah, so those were like the original intended designs for the symbols, for the character symbols. But these were the ones that I ended up going for the kid, the friend, the lover, the pain, and Ichigonya. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's the sketchbook tour. Now let's move on to the outro. Alright, so that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun making this video for you guys. Yeah, so for upcoming YouTube content, I'll be continuing on with the polls, because I want to hear you guys out on what kind of content you want me to make on YouTube. So keep an eye open for those, or however you say that, for the polls, and please make sure to vote in them, because I really want to hear you guys out on what you actually want me to make. But as for next week's YouTube video, I have already decided that I will be making that speed paint that is still related to cyberbullying, because I've been working on this current chapter, which is online. I've been working on it for so fucking long that I just want to sort of get it over with. There are still a few things that I need to go over before I fully finish this chapter. There are a few illustrations that I haven't even finished yet, that I don't even really have proper sketches for as of right now. So I want to get those done like as soon as possible, so that we can move on to a new chapter and move on to a new point of conversation on Death on a Paper. So next week you can wait for that speed paint video that will be up next week. And then after that, I'll be asking you guys again on what kind of content you want me to make on YouTube. So make sure to vote on those polls when they pop up on your feed. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to spend some time here with me again this week, and I hope to see you guys again on next week's video. My name is Ichigonya, and this has been our project Death on a Paper.